Ah, my plant's getting destroyed by the sun. How'd you figure that a stinking clementine tree gets destroyed by the sun? I've had that forever. All right, so we're just gonna run out this pack that I never had a chance to run out the other day. It is on 6S. Oh, wait a minute. Is this battery dead? Why is the battery dead? Well, I gotta test the servo. Alright. So we've got a slightly cleaner FIRETEAM just because I was tired of all the dirt and debris and stuff that was constantly on this thing. So I took it outside, washed the body completely, and then realized, man, good luck if you've got a FIRETEAM as far as cleaning this thing, because all the nooks and crannies and cavities that this thing has, you're never going to get this thing clean. Ever. So anyways, this is RC Guy Garage, and we just had a pretty good live, realizing that there are differences on the servos. So these servos right here, which are the S652 Spektrum servos, a lot of people say that they're junk, and man, I don't know. I think like what I was talking about in the live is that there is really no company out there, at least in my mind, that wants to give you, truly wants to give you a junk product, because in the end, what that's going to do is affect their bottom line. Now, the people that are in control of the bottom line, the only thing that they're concerned with is obviously that bottom line. Maximizing profit, getting bonuses, making sure that they get their E-Porsches or whatever they drive. I don't know what they drive, but they don't drive cars like you and I. So, we have got the Arrma FIRETEAM on deck right now. I did, like I said, I went through and made two servos technically into one. This is the Spektrum S652, and realized that there are a lot of changes between this one and the one that came in my V5 Kraton. So now I don't know if those changes are good or bad. What I will say is that this servo had a lot of water ingress. It's a big word. It's one of those big words. It had a lot of water ingress, I guess you'd call it. Means that water was able to get inside. It didn't damage the servo, and the gears in the FIRETEAM are what were the issue, where the actual electronics in my Series 5 or a V5 of my Spektrum, of my Arrma Kraton V5, that was the issue with it was DOA out of the box. So I'm going to go ahead and reinstall this servo, and then I will see if there's a way to check endpoints with this piece of garbage radio that the FIRETEAM comes with. Yeah, I don't know, man. It was literally just a piece of crap components that are inside this servo. So let's get this thing put back together. Hopefully I have all the parts still. Do have the servo horn ready to rip. Do have some of the parts that I had to take off. There's a couple extra things in there. I'm sure I'll be able to figure it out. So just going to go ahead and just take this servo, basically wire it back in, get it to go back in the same position. I do feel that the way this was in there, see, I'm trying to, you can see the bends. So there were certain bends that this had. Yeah, you can see. And then obviously it was looped back around with this little wire holder thing that it's got. So I'm going to go ahead and try and feed that back in the way it was. Hopefully I can get this without it being an issue. I may have to take that servo thing out of there. So looks like it's not going to allow me to seat it down. There we go. So what happened was the wire was getting stuck, so it wouldn't affix all the way down. So now that that's like that, oddly, this only had one spacer, so they had this spacer. It only had one spacer on it. And I believe the spacer was towards the spacer was towards the back. See how there's an imprint in this? So when you look at this, there's an imprint on this little spacer. So for some reason, this was spaced up in the back. Like that. It was not spaced up in the front. And I'm not exactly sure why. I'm going to leave it the way it was, not spaced, because that's the way they had it. I just do think it's a little odd. So these screws do have washers. I should be using my driver. What I want to do now is I'm going to reroute this wire. It did have this cool little clip that kind of kept things in place. So I am going to reuse this. And I do believe both wires were trapped inside this little clip. And it went in through a screw on the bottom there. So I need to make sure I find the appropriate screw for that, which is going to be that one. So it traps both the servo and the servo. So servo, the steering and the ESC. So you can see effectively what that did is it's that piece right there. And then this gets drawn back over underneath the drive shaft. It gets redirected back this way underneath the drive shaft and the brace. I tell you, all these small tools lately are driving me insane. Obviously, the majority of this is going to get stuffed in there. The antenna wire was last. I don't think it really makes a difference, but just to keep things factory. So I don't seem to like that routing. So what I'm noticing is on this side, because of the way I've got that wire going, because of the way I have that wire going in there, in that piece, I need it to go underneath. So right now I have it going over the top. I'm going to have it go underneath because what it looks like that's happening is it looks like the drive shaft wants to rub it. So if I feed it underneath, I think that will help. And then feed the antenna wire on top of that. Now take this and plug it into steering channel 1, which says steering on there. Keeping in mind the orientation of the black wire. The black wire orientation is on the outside. Otherwise, you'll be reverse connecting it. Okay. So that seems happy. Wire is definitely... Seems like the wire is out of the way. It is important to make sure that those wires are not contacting that drive shaft, man. They're pretty damn close to that drive shaft. So I'm going to go ahead and put the cover back on. Shouldn't need access to that. At least I don't think I will. Don't need to like bind anything. That actually seemed to go down a little bit too tight. All right, that's all set. Now I want to go ahead and attach the servo horn to the truck. The only thing I need to do is make sure that things are settled with this controller here. So go ahead and turn this on. I'm going to make sure my steering trim is centered, which it looks like it is. So I'll go ahead and turn this on. Go ahead and give this some 3S power. So hit the brake. Okay, steering on the truck itself seems like it's right where it needs to be. So I'll go ahead and throw the arm on. And the washer goes one way and the bolt goes the other way. Looks like... I think the washer was on that side. I'm pretty sure that bolt goes through like that from the top, I believe. That's what I'm going to go with. Boy, really is way off. Probably should have just this connected first, like it is. Let's see if I can get it started. There we go. Tightened up fast. And see what I did. I grabbed the throttle. Got to make sure you grab the right one. And I don't really like that. That's way off. So, pop that out. Oh, it doesn't seem to matter. Either way, it's going to be way off. But that would have been a disaster. Now, this did have thread lock on it. But I'm just going to go with it the way it is here. Now I can see where somebody's saying right now, endpoints, because look how much that is rocking. So I will have to go in and do some type of an endpoint adjustment on this, because look at that. Unless I turn my dual rate down, but look at that. If I crank dual rate all the way up, look how much that's torquing. Torquing one way isn't bad, but torquing that way is way bad. So that almost means I'd be better off binding my other radio to this. How the heck do you set endpoints on this thing? I'm gonna have to crack a manual. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the remote in a bind process. Tactic radios were a little bit different, so put the radio in a bind process. There's one way to do it. There's a wrong way to do it and a right way to do it. For some strange reason, when you pull throttle back and put the remote on, the remote will do a slow, steady blinking flash. Not exactly sure what mode that puts the radio in. You got to make sure that the vehicle's going straight. Make sure that your throttle is set to 0 and put your dual rate all the way cranked up. Put the remote all the way to the right, full brake with the car off. Press the remote button You'll see it's flashing. What it's doing is it's saying it's in a calibration mode. Go ahead and release. You'll see the light goes off. Turn your truck on. You shouldn't see this turn on. If this light turns on right now, that means that it's out of calibration mode and that it's just like ready to operate the truck. Now, this thing can take off. So you're going to operate the A and B button. I believe the A is positive, the B is negative. Either way, you'll be able to tell which way that you go. So when we look at the truck right now, when you watch that steering servo, you can see when I go to the right about there, that's max steering. Look at the servo tweaking. So what I'm going to do is go that same right and then hold down the B button. See how the servo releases that tension? So I think the only thing that throws this off is that the third channel is connected. So what I want to do is make sure I'm still getting steering, but without tweaking that servo. Now go all the way to the left. Check the same thing. I just don't want to see that servo rocking. And I feel satisfied with that. Shut off the truck, turn off the remote, power on the remote like regular. You can see it's got a solid light. Go ahead and power on the vehicle. It should be all set. So the endpoints are adjusted. So no more destroying the servo. So you need to make sure that your steering is calibrated to the truck to make it go straight. So I'm going to go ahead and do this again. Power this down. And then go through that whole process again. So steering all the way to the right. Full brake. You can see it's flashing. Let it go. Turn on the vehicle. You also watch that the light is flashing. And the light flashes for each adjustment that you do here. So I'm going to go full right, full left. Left is still a little off. Go full right. So what I don't want is I just don't want the servo getting jacked. And that's it. Power off. Power off the radio. Power on the radio. Power on the model. Should be good to go. So that was kind of a quick video, just installing a servo, rerouting the wires, making sure that the wires aren't going to be contacting that drive shaft in any way, because obviously if that's the case, you could be getting some rub. Just making sure that they keep those wires as low as they can be on that chassis, and then going into that Spektrum SLT3 radio and adjusting the endpoints in which the endpoints were not adjusted. So could that have been an effect on this car? Yeah, it probably could have been. I'll take the bait, man. I'll say it was me, just as usual. It always is. So maybe that is something that you should check with your model, because when they're slapping things together like they do, quality control, we obviously know, is a major issue. It just really shouldn't be us that's doing all of this stuff. So, yeah. That information's not in the manual either. It doesn't tell you that little special programming mode. You actually have to look it up online. So you're not adjusting endpoints based upon the FIRETEAM manual. So anyways, this is RC Guy Garage, and hopefully, like me, you're getting out there and ripping something, anything. I gotta figure out what battery's what. So this is the battery I just took out. And this one was acting bad. 10%. All right, so that battery just must not have been charged. I know there was a battery in here that I did take out. There should have been like 80%. That's 60, maybe a 60-something percent. Because that was 66. This one is 6. This one is 81. All right, 81%. Which one should I use? They're both, I think, the same thing. I guess I'll go for the 80-something percent. Yeah, go for the 80%. Give this another shot. But my clementine tree is getting burned, man, by the sun. Oh no. Oh well. It'll live another day at some point. It'll regen. It'll do a diesel regen. Majority of it is alive. It's just a bummer. And gotta make sure I point this camera up. Put that like that or something. Body is still a little bit to get used to. Sometimes I mess it up. Tolerances for these pins are pretty rough. These back pins. Trying to get that pin into that little position right there. Front one's fine, but the back ones are kind of rough. It's almost as if you got to like bend the pin, the straight part, kind of up a little bit just to get it beyond that body section. So, no step. Oh, it's got such a bad nose landing. You gotta drive it very specific. You gotta leave a little bit for throttle. See what I'm saying? It's almost like you can't go into it full trigger like I like to do. You have to leave a little bit just at the end, just to be able to bump that front up. Give it kind of like a little goose. Otherwise, they'll do exactly that, and it'll fail on a jump. The e-brake is weird to get used to. Oh. Like that little bump right there, man. I didn't think it was going to land on its shell. It is a cool truck. It definitely is. I'm not saying that it's not in any way. It really is. But look at that digger, man. Look at how deep that dig is. That's a bad dig, man. That is full. Look at the impression. That dig was full on, bam. So, full on bam. I gotta figure out the handbrake. Oh, I guess I get it. Oh, okay. Use the handbrake to whip, and that way you can still stay on throttle. Like, throttle, release, and when you release, you handbrake it, and then you can go immediately back on throttle. I think that's what it's for. Oh! Nasty dirt. Oh, I didn't even know where it was. I was expecting it to come over here and not slam into the tree. It's a weird, like, cage configuration, because once it's kind of like on its edge, it doesn't really kind of rewrite. Ah, see, I'm still used to hitting the brake. Nope. Just don't have the coordination for it. Nope. This is different. This is different. This doesn't have the wheel speed. Just so used to hitting the brake, man. Got plenty of torque, man, with this gearing. Definitely is a cool truck, man. I can smell it. Smells hot, though. Definitely smells hot. If I got fans going. I can hear fans going, but they all going? Yeah, ESC and motor fan are going. Motor is warm. I think that I think this motor needs a better fan. That's warm. I can have my hands on there, but I can smell that this thing is warm. Man, we're only talking like 50 degrees today. I mean, I suppose it could be more. Wires feel warm. I don't know if I like that. I don't think I like these wires flopping around like that either. If I do this, and then do that, maybe that's a better scenario. Ah, look at that. Should that switch be like that? Ah, you know what? I wonder if that switch was supposed to be in there. Once you place, it seems like once you place the body on and off a couple of times, you kind of like I was saying before, you kind of like get used to the oddity of the placement of the body. Because it's very, the body is very specific in how it's placed because it's got those posts that are on the side. So having my trailer here is a little odd. But we're gonna have, these things getting muddled on me. We are gonna have some trailer content soon, meaning gonna be pulling this trailer down to camping spot, and I'm gonna be taking some RCs camping. Just can't get away from that nose digger. You gotta leave some in the tank. Wonder what this thing would do with the LSD diffs. You know, the ones that are supposed to be in the thing there. The Kraton EXB. That was a bad landing. Oh, can I get out of that? Once the wheels are stopped, can I get out of that? If I turn right and give it some gas, can I get out? Nope. Probably had to go in reverse. Probably could have done it then. That's it. Done. Low power cut, I think. Steering is slightly off. So that was it. So anyways, this is RC Guy Garage, and like I said, I probably already kind of semi-stopped the video, but we had to take the FIRETEAM outside, give it a little bit of a light bashing. That's what that was. That wasn't a hard bash, man. That was a light bash over here at RC Guy Garage, because that's all I do. I do just light, mild bashes. So yeah, I'm out. What are you doing? It didn't make it. So inside it's actually clean. I thought I was gonna have to wash it, but that's actually clean. Yeah, I'm staying with that. The arms are a little bit nasty. Good enough. Definitely good enough, man. What if I disconnect the battery this time? Motor's got some heat to it, man. I tell you, the motor's got some heat. I also don't like where that plug ended up, man. Look where that plug was. That plug was down there in the drive shaft. Looks like it's got some rub on it. Damn it. Foolishness, man. With all these massive plugs. I don't know.